Hello and good morning to everybody. I'm Rafa from Rodin 4D, and I want to thank all of you who are present today in this webinar. I am seeing there are many people connected, which makes me really happy. So again, thank you so much to be there today with us. If there is something you don't understand or you want to ask a question, you can do it clicking on the question button you have, I think, on the top right side of your screen. In the event that you want to make some type of orthopedic device that you don't know how to do it, or if you have any problem when you are rectifying it, please don't hesitate to contact us. Don't forget that we want to help you. In the same way, if you have problems during the scanning process or when you are doing the cam with our Victor robot or with our 3-axis milling machines, in this case, you can do it through the platform we are using for this seminar today, or you can send us an email to info@rodin4d.com, or contact me directly at rafa, R-A-F-A, @rodin4d.com. We will review all your requests, and this will help us to prepare more webinars like this. Today, we will start explaining how to rectify a custom seating following the European technique. Regarding the seating, we will organize other webinars where you will see, for example, how to use a Captivia file when we use the beanbag with the OrthoSpa chassis. We will show you as well how to use our Cube software to make custom seatings using the US technique. The difference is that in Europe, the people adapt the seat to the wheelchair in only one piece, and in the US, they normally adapt the seat and the backrest independently. In this case, when the backrest is already milled, they insert the soft foam into a housing or shell that can be made of plastic or aluminum that is attached to the tubes of the backrest of the chassis. So, I think after this introduction, we can start the webinar. So, let's start. Let's play. In the interface, in the main window, you have the button here to import. So you click on it and you can look on your computer, but you can click on it to minimize. And I have here the STL scan, so you can drag. And now you have the mesh here ready to start. You can see that there is some parts that we need to remove. So I click on next. Now I want to remove the lateral parts because after I will save time. So I want to use, in this window is ready to repair the mesh. So when you click on it, you have the possibility to draw a line like this. I turn my mesh to have a good perspective. Double click with left button to finish. So the system remove the triangles. Don't worry if for any reason you have some artifacts, because I will show you after one possibility, one functionality to remove it. Okay. The goal of this webinar is, of course, to explain you the rectification process, but many tips and tricks using our system. So I will click on it. If, for example, you can see this part is connected to the mesh, so I will use a lasso to cut, for example, like this, I want to separate from the main mesh. Okay. Okay, and I think it's more or less okay. Probably we can cut the top part. So I want to cut from here. And I remove triangles, so you can see we have some artifacts. This is, imagine that sometimes you can start using one mesh with many artifacts. So you can use this functionality. You can select the main shape, and after you can invert the colors, so the system has the artifacts ready to remove. Okay, everything is okay. Imagine that you want to use this functionality, so you can draw a rectangle and you can remove triangles. Okay, I have more artifacts, but anyway, I will remove after. I want to use this one also. Let you the possibility. You can see the resolution of this scan is not very good. You can see that the triangles are very big, but don't worry, because after we can increase the numbers of triangles to smooth and get a better resolution. If you select the triangles, you can click and you can remove. If you repeat the process using the control, you can select more triangles. Okay. You can also use the ball. So when you click with the left button on the shape and you move, you can mark the triangles you want to modify. If for any reason it's very big, with the right button you can deactivate some triangles. Okay, so I want to make a big hole here to show you how we can repair this. In a real case this is not normal, but anyway, to remove this it's easy to use the cube. So I click on the main mesh and after invert the colors. So you can see that I have already the 3 ready to remove, and that's all. If for any reason you have a scan like this and you want to fill after this part because you feel that is important with the triangles, you can select this one. With the control, I will select this one, and after I have activated this functionality to create a bridge. So after this, I will fill this hole. Okay? When everything is okay, next, now the system shows us all the holes that it identifies. So if you click on it, the system activates all the triangles. In many cases, if the quality of the scan is not very good, because for many reasons your technique is not good, or the scan is the cheapest one, probably you can see a very long list. So with this button you can activate all together, and you can see the last one is the biggest one, is the perimeter of the mesh. So we don't need to use it. So with the control I deactivate. I want to deactivate this functionality to show you what's happened. When you click on it, you can see that the system fills the holes, but you can see this is not very good, because this is not anatomic. So I want to undo, and I want to repeat the process, but with this functionality activated. So you will see that the system will fill and give us a very good shape. Okay, you can see it's completely rounded and is perfect. Next step. Now we have this window to align the mesh. You know, during the process it's important to work with the front view, lateral view, distal view, top view, and everything. So we will use the manipulator. In this case, with this line, you can turn. With this one, you can turn. There is a trick. If you try to move in this direction, you cannot control it. So it's much better to start to move and go up or down. Okay, so now I want to move to see here the front view. I think it's more or less okay. You can use the other windows to give the good alignment for you. So I think everything is okay. So I will activate the center of the sand to see the shape in the middle of the window. Click on next, and now you have the possibility to reduce the numbers of triangles. In this case it is not necessary because we have only 2800. Is nothing. If you move, you can see the size, the percentage, and the number of triangles. If you want it and you apply, you can see the simplified mesh, this one, and the original one. Okay, if you don't like it, you don't need to use it. And everything is okay to click on finish and start our design. Okay, so when you click here, you can see the front view. Let me check if there is some problem. Nah, this is only one triangle that probably, no, I think it's okay. So let's start. The first step is to convert this negative shape in a positive. How we can do it? In the creation button, we have the plane, we save it, and now it's important to turn the inclination of the plane. The system by default leaves activated the last line that you use, in this case the plane. So with the control, I will combine with the scan. If for any reason you click here, you deactivate everything. So at the beginning you had something like this. Exists the possibility instead to click on it to use the control and click directly on the 3D shape. And now tools, and you can see that we have only 4 possibilities. In this case we want to use it. Add until, we want to add from the plane to the mesh. Click here and we have something like this. Now we have the possibility to smooth in one step, 2 or 3, something like this. Okay, and now we have 2 possibilities. We can resave in the same line, or we can create a new one. In this case, should be interesting to create a new one because we can keep the original one to compare during the process differences. So I want to click on it and I want to rename like scan smooth it. This is really this is the positive smooth it. Okay, I don't need the plane, so I click on the eye to deactivate. If you want, you can click here, right button, and delete. And now depending the quality of the scan, should be interesting to start to clean. This shape is more or less okay. We have some parts here that I don't like it, so I prefer to smooth now. You can smooth now or you can smooth after when you get the negative, when you get the seating. So I want to use the ball with the ball, when you move your mouse over the shape, you can see the dimension. So I want to increase. This is the level. This is the level of the smooth. By default, the system uses 5, but you can increase till 10. You need to click one time on the shape, click and hold the space bar, and at the same time move your mouse. So you can see that we are smoothing. Very good. I want to turn. Probably this part I don't like it. I want to increase a little bit. So click one time, space, hold it, and move your mouse. Okay. It seems that everything is okay, so you can, in this case I don't want to create a new one, so I resave, clicking here. Okay, I prefer to use this view, and in the creation you have the skeleton. You can see in the main window we have different folders: skeletons, meshes, planes, and measures. So when you click on it, the system asks you which type of skeleton you want to use. In this case, simple settings. And now we have the values to modify the back, the seat, and the width. So in this case, for example, I will mark and click on the keyboard 500. The depth of the seat, for example, 400. Here is the depth, this is the thickness, that means the thickness of this block and this block. By default use 200, probably we can use, I don't know, 250. You can use also the scroll if you want, that is faster to type. The margin, this is really important for the settings. The margin is the minimal thickness, you will see after. The system by default use 50 millimeters. This is up to you, and also it's important to know which material you will use. For example, if you will use a hard density, probably you can reduce it, but with the standard one, 50 millimeters is perfect. You can reduce the width, I don't know, I will start with 600, and now it's okay, so click here. So you can see the skeleton. And at this moment it's important to control the margin. This is the minimal thickness, so I need to move the skeleton until you put this line exactly in the bottom part of the shape of our patient. I need to use the manipulator. So with this one you can move with this triangle we have in the middle, up, down, left, and right, or you can use these arrows. So now I think it's okay. I want to be sure that is exactly in the good place. So at this moment I'm sure that when I get the negative, I will have 50 millimeters thickness below the ischion. Now this is okay. I want to start to adjust the back. So you can see that I need to increase a little bit the angle. So here you can move. I am looking the distance in the top and the bottom part. For me it's okay. If you want to move a little bit back, now it's okay. Now when you finish with the manipulator, you can deactivate here or you can click on it. Okay. You can see that the dimension of the skeleton, the height of the back is big, and also the depth of the cushion is also big. So I go to the back, click on it, and you can start to reduce moving your scroll. If you want to move faster, you can combine with the control button. I think it's okay. Now I click here to reduce the depth of my cushion. If you cannot see better, you can turn a little bit to see if everything is okay or not. You decide where you want to cut. For example, in this case, I think should be great here. Okay, and now we have the width, so we can reduce or increase. This is up to you. In case for any reason you need to move a little bit, I have already activated the skeleton. I want to use the manipulator because with the blue arrow you can move at this level. I think is okay. I deactivate the skeleton, the manipulator, and everything is okay. You can see the system has activated the skeleton. With the control, I will combine with the positive tools, and I want to use the difference. So we will get the negative. Okay, so now probably when I create the skeleton, probably I could reduce this distance to cut a little bit this part, but anyway, after we will use a plane and we will draw a draft to remove everything. Okay, so I think everything is okay. I want to start using this view. For me it's mandatory to use the opacity so you can see where you need to cut. If you cannot see, you can activate the original scan, so you can see very good where is the axilla and everything. You can activate or not. For me should be great. So go to creation, call a plane, save it, and after click on carve to use so now call a plane, so now call a plane, save, okay, click on carve, and now let's start to draw the carve. If you use the left button, the system put squares. When you use squares, the line between squares is straight. If you change to right button, the system will put a sphere, and the lines between the spheres will be carved. So I think it's much better for this sample. So I want to start to draw the trim line. Probably I went too back, but anyway, I can modify after. This one straight, and after finish. There is many people that at the beginning, instead to use this direction, come from here, and at the end they will remove the seat, but you need to do something like this. To finish, you need to click on the first one, and now you decide if you want to move. For example, if you don't want to use this one, double click to remove. If you want to add, for example, here, it is not necessary, but right button, you insert a sphere. If you click with the left, you add a square. If you want to remove, something like this. Okay, for me I think it's okay. I want to move a little bit this one and probably this one, and everything is okay. So now if you can see we have the plane between the mesh and us, and this window is here. So we need to apply the extrusion I prefer to use this window and reduce the zoom a little bit to know exactly the direction of the extrusion, because I never remember the direction. This is the wrong direction, so I will change it. If you use the control, you will move faster. This is okay. In case you want to use or draw different carves according the left and the right sides, if the design is asymmetric, you need to draw one carve on the left and call a new plane and draw a new carve on the other side. If you want to apply a symmetric, you need to cover everything. So this is up to you. I want to explain step by step everything, so I want to draw this and after I will use the other one. Okay, I will draw the other one, sorry. Everything is okay, so the carve one is activated. With the control, I will activate the last mesh, creation, and add remove until. So in this case, I need to activate material removal. Okay, next. And you will see everything is into the carve. The system will remove. I want to resave. I don't need the plane, so I click on it, and you can see that we start to remove material. I want to see the other view. I want to apply the transparency. Okay, I call a new plane, save, carve, and start to draw my carve. Okay, something like this. Okay. Don't forget, if you use this direction, is the wrong way, so click outside, because remember, we want to remove the material we have into the carve. You can see the trim line is awful, so I want to start to modify the position of some dots. So probably, I think now is much better. Again, I go here to reduce a little bit to see the plane, click on extrusion. If you want to see the front view, you can. Wrong direction, this is the good one, and everything is okay. So the carve one is in the plane 3 is already activated. Control and the positive smoothed we have activated. Tools and add and remove until. Material removal, and the system will remove this material and this material. Okay, so everything is okay. I want to resave. I don't need the plane and the carve. I don't need now the scan. And this is our seating. Okay. Imagine that for any reason I want to activate this functionality to see the triangles. You can see that in the part I already cut, the length of the triangles is very big. So probably if you try to smooth this edge, probably you will have some problems. Look, I want to click on the 3D shape with the left button, click and hold the space bar, and you can see that is not very good. There is people that they like to use this technique, but for example, for me it's much better to undo and use the remesh, because I want to increase or convert the triangles in like uniform. We will see. In this case, you can simplify, you can refine, or you can make uniform. In this case, I will do it. But I am thinking that to save time, we will do after, because now it is not necessary. So the next step should be to start to create the axilla and the lateral pad. So I want to remove this part of the negative to leave space for the arms. So creation, plane, save, carve, and I want to start from here approximately. The system gives you the distance between the segment, you can see. Okay. It's important when you use, for example, our Victor robot, if you use the standard form, soft, the minimal thickness is 30 millimeters. If you design the lateral part with less than 30 millimeters, probably you will have problems. So this is important now to control. Imagine that if I draw from here, I have less than 30 millimeters, so probably I will have problems. So I will modify after. In this case, I will come from here, from here, from here, from here, left bottom, left bottom, left bottom. Okay, I'm finished in the original one. So now I want to convert, and I want to see how much is it. 36, 35. I think it's okay. Probably it's higher, so I want to move down. Okay. I think there is people that they leave straight, but I like to work with the reference of this border, so I try to leave more or less parallel. I think it's okay. Okay, so don't forget to click on the extrusion, and the extrusion will be cover all the seat, because I want to remove everything. There is people that they prefer to leave like this, so they leave a foam in the back part of the arm, but I prefer to remove everything. Control the last mesh, tools, material, removal, and next. Okay, I'm finished. I don't need the plane, and you start to see my settings. There is people that to save time, they edit again the last plane with the manipulator. They turn 180 degrees to reuse the carve. They can move some dots, and after they change the direction of the extrusion. But I want to repeat the process so everybody can understand the process. Carve, and I start to draw, to draw, to draw, to draw. Okay. For example, here, outside, outside, I'm finished with the first one. I think it's very good. So I want to click on the extrusion button and cover all the seat. Control and tools, add, remove until, and material removal. Okay. Now I want to save, deactivate the last plane, and during the process, because you know this software we developed for cushion sittings, mattresses and 3D printing. So this is a functionality that is interesting for 3D printing, because if the system identify some problems according the position of some triangles, this is not possible to print, so the system advises you in red color to repair. So you have this possibility, but sometimes you don't need, according the settings, you don't need to repair every time, because during this moment, for example, if I want to remesh, I have the possibility to use it. For example, I cannot use the filling hole, so I cannot use the smoothing, because first I need to repair. But now I want to make uniform, I want to convert, remember, you can see, I want to convert to get a mesh with all the triangles with the same length. You can see that these triangles are very, very big, and probably after, if I try to smooth, the final result is not very good. So I click on make uniform, click on it. Here is the length of the segments. By default, use the length of this one. So I don't know, I want to put 8, for example. Probably is a lot, we will see, and apply. Okay, it's done. So you can see that now we use make uniform, so all the triangles are exactly the same. So I want to save it. We still have the same problem. The system advises us to repair. We can repair. The system asks you if the mesh is closed or not. In this case, yes. And the system will repair. Probably here there is some problems according the triangles. Okay, but now everything is okay. We can start to smooth a little bit, or we can do it at the end. The last step I used to convert the triangles uniform. Normally I prefer to do at the end. Why? Because I want to cut this material, so probably I need to repeat again. Anyway, we have the top view. I want to use the creation plane, new plane, new carve, and I want to start to remove material from here. There is people that they prefer to use standard shells like a cube, so they don't spend time to do this part. They don't want to remove the back part of the cushion, and they don't want to remove this. But this is up to you. For me, it's much better. Also, it's more expensive, of course, to do something like this. So I want to cut the lateral part because I don't need. Finish. Now the plane, you can imagine, is on the top. The plane is here. So I want to extrude to remove material here. I want to be sure that if the position is okay, probably I can convert, but this is not really important. Probably this one I want to move a little bit here and trying to leave parallel to this shape. I think it's okay. Combine with control with the last line we have already on the meshes folder. Tools, add, remove, until, material removal, and next. Everything is okay. Okay, I want to draw a new one in the right side. It's in red color, but I can use it. Okay, left button, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, after I will show you how you can, in case you cut more, how you can control and increase the thickness in this part. So I think it's okay. I want to give extrusion, control and the scroll, and the last one, tools, and remove material. So everything is okay. I don't need the plane. I can move the bar to go down, but it's faster if you click on the plane and after the system show you, so you can deactivate. Okay, let me see, let me check the seating if it's okay or not. I think it's perfect. I want to repair, yes. And now I want to smooth, but before I want to be sure that the triangles has the same length. It's not the case. Probably I don't smooth nothing here, but in this transition, yes. So I think it's much better to use the remesh and make uniform. So like I explained before, probably the step before, it was great if I don't do nothing and remesh now. But anyway, I want to put approximately, I don't know, 8, like before. It was not very bad. So click on it and let's start to smooth. We can use the complete smoothing. We can play 50%, 10. We will see. I want to check the edges. Apply. I think it's more or less okay. But now, if you don't like it, you can undo and you can reduce. Okay, imagine that is okay for you. Now you have also the possibility to use the ball. The dimension of the size of the ball is very big too, in my opinion, so I prefer to use something like this. So remember, click with the left button on the shape. With this functionality you have the possibility to modify the volume or only the surface. No, now I want to click on it and you can see, but at the same time the system is smooth and increase the numbers of triangles. For the seating is not important because we have already activated refine. Okay, if you deactivate, you can see that we smooth, but the triangles are uniform. This is up to you. Okay, I want to do other things, so I don't want to spend time smoothing now. I prefer to smooth after, but I want to save it, this step. Imagine that the pommel, if you want to put in the center of the screen, you should click here. Imagine that the pommel, you don't like it. This is not very bad, but in some cases the pommel we get with the beanbag is awful. The process is easy, but anyway, you have many possibilities. Now I want to show you how you can import some pommels that you already create and you have in your computer, like templates. So I want to start with the top view, creation, import. So now I need to look in my computer, where is it? I think I have samples of pommels I create in my trainings. I think it's here. Let me check this one. Okay, I think this one is more or less okay. You can, this is some pommels that I create with the customers. This is not finished because in a real case we should cut from here, but you can create from zero the pommels, or if you want and you have in your facility a very nice pommel, you can scan, you can export to STL, and after you can import in Cube. So now I want to use the first one because I think it's much better, and I click directly and finish because I don't want to align, I don't want to spend time. When you click on finish, you have the pommel like this. So with the manipulator you have the possibility to move and leave in the good place. Let me check if everything is okay. I want to activate the seat to apply transparency because now I can see the original pommel. So now for me it's easier. Oh shit, sorry. I want to activate the pommel and move down. I don't know if the position is okay or not, so I want to be sure that probably should be better if I leave something like this, but you can see the length is very big. We can work like this, and after we can cut with a plane, or we can, for example, modify the scale of the insert. I have activated the proportional, so when I modify this, I modify in the 3 axis, or you can deactivate and go one by one. In this case I am modifying only the height. Here I can increase or decrease the width. We will see after in other view. And here we can leave something like this. But there is people that they like to leave in this part longer the pommel because help us to control the legs of our patient. So this view is more or less okay for me, front view, and now I prefer to move more in this way. Probably I can increase a little bit. If for any reason in this patient you want to turn a little bit, you can turn. This is up to you. If not, I want to leave like 0, or I can go here to undo. If everything is okay, remove the manipulator. I want to apply the transparency in both shapes, and now I want to be sure that everything is good. I think it's perfect. So I want to combine this one. I already activate control with this one, tools, and now I want to use the union. So at the end we have a new shape with everything together. So during the process you can see the system create a new mesh and a new mesh and a new mesh, and sometimes you cannot identify which one is the good. So you can rename and you can put a seat with pommel. Okay, so now I want to smooth a little bit the transition of the pommel with the seat, so I want to use the ball. You can use the triangle, so you can deactivate ball. The ball, in this case I want to modify the volume, Okay, and now it's important to have a good perspective. Click one time, space bar, and move slowly your mouse so you can see that the final result is really nice. Okay, okay, let me okay, I think it's pretty cool. And now you have also the possibility, if you want, I want to remind you that this pommel is a simple pommel that I designed very fast during one training. So yes, we can smooth more. Now I want to start to smooth this part and this. Every time the view is very important. It's important to have a good perspective to be sure that you are smoothing only the shape, the part you want to. Now I want to remember that this part we smooth at the beginning. Okay. You can increase if you want the level, but it's this is up to you. You need to control that everything is okay or not, because if for any reason you move a lot, probably you can get wrong shapes like this. So now I want to undo one step, and I want to finish at this side. Okay, and I smooth everything. This part I cannot see, so it has no sense to, I prefer to move a little. This part is not important because probably at the end I will decide to cut with a plane, but if you want to leave, you can do it. Okay, this part also we need to smooth. There is people that they prefer to smooth manually. There is people that they prefer to use the complete smoothing. At the end, you will decide. Remember that we keep the original shape to compare differences. So, for example, this part, this transition, I prefer to smooth a little bit, and also this one. So probably I can increase more, and you can smooth like this. And now I want to go to the other side like this. Probably in this part I want to put 5. Okay, and I forgot to smooth the size. Is very big, because if I use a big size, probably I smooth the external and the internal edge, so be careful with this. Okay, so I am smoothing very good and very fast. This part also. Okay, so for me it's okay, so I want to save it. So now other possibility is to in case you want to create a force or something like this to combine with geopaths or the density of material on the ischion to avoid some problems. Now I want to insert one shape that I have already here. I rename like a geopath symmetry. This one, again, is not perfect because I create one day in one training. finish. Now I want to use the manipulator to move and put in the good place. I want to increase using the proportional the dimension of the shape. Imagine that you want to increase the depth, so you deactivate and you can increase like this. You can turn, you can move exactly to put in the good place. And after I want to activate the seat to apply the transparency so I can see perfectly everything. I want to move the geopath, so I need to click on it to move. Okay, and now we have one functionality very good to control distance and everything. So I want to see the front view, okay, and I want to use this one, the scissors. So at this moment I am looking the cross section where we have the yellow plane, so with this bar you can move more posterior, and now you can see and you can activate this one and this one and this one, so we can control the minimal depth of the foes. This is the contour of our patient and this is our geopath. So I click on it and I click on it, okay. So if you move the manipulator, imagine that you want to leave at, I don't know, 30 millimeters or something like this, so you can move and you can control and you say okay, 30 or 20. Imagine that this is okay for you. It's perfect. So I remove it and now I don't need the manipulator, so I want to combine both shapes. I activate first the shape where I want to remove material, control the geopath, tools and difference. And now we will get a shape like this. The functionality I showed you before is interesting at the beginning, because when you start to import the original mesh and you start to rectify with this functionality, you can control many things, because you can control the internal ML at this level. You can control the external width. If you want to keep this picture, you click here, so the system will keep this information. If you change the view and you move the plane, for example something like this, you can control the angle. Let me activate the 3D. Click here, click here. Let me, no, because for the angle you need to use this one. So you click on it, and you can see we have 95.50 degrees. If you want to control also the depth of the seat, you can do something like this. This is normally, I like to use this functionality at the beginning to control if everything is okay. You know that if you use low quality 3D scan, probably if the technique to scan is not very good, probably you have some problems. So at the beginning when you import the mesh, you can use this functionality to be sure that everything is okay or not. I want to create a new copy. So imagine that I don't know, you are playing, you put something like this and you want to see this picture. So you can see this information, or you can see this information. Okay, if you don't want to use it, click right button and close, click right button and close. Okay, also with this functionality, now the system keep the measures, but you can go here and you can deactivate all. Imagine that you want to compare this shape with the original one. This one, I want to change the color. I want to see, for example, in blue. So now we can compare the differences between our original shape and our design. So you decide if you like it or not. This is interesting, for example, at the beginning. If you smooth a lot, probably you have a big problem. So with this functionality, you can control very, very good. So from the beginning to the other one, I built up 7.86 millimeters. You know that I was playing with the ball and the complete smoothing several times, so it's important when you apply the smooth control with this functionality, and after this you decide if you want to undo or not. If, for example, I move and I put the blue line here, you can see the differences between the original is not significant, so it's perfect for us. If you want to see the projection, the tie, you can see. So this is really interesting. This is one of the reasons that I like to keep the original shape. Or probably we can use this one. This is the positive, we already smooth. So I want to change the color to see very good the differences. Okay, and you can see. Okay, so now is the moment to smooth a little bit this part if you want. So I start to smooth. Remember, click one time, hold the space bar and move slowly. Now the perspective is not good, so I prefer to turn a little bit and repeat the process again and again. Okay, so the rectification is done, and now, like I told you, if for any reason you want to cut this part, you can select the top view. You can use a plane, save. Now I need to change the position of the plane, so I will turn 90 degrees. I can move the manipulator, or I can activate these values and put 90. At this moment I want to move, because imagine that you want to cut exactly at this level. Be sure that the position of the plane is okay. You can see that in this case we need to move down, because if not we can not cut nothing. And control and click on the shape to cut. Okay, so at the end we will get two mesh. The small one we don't need, and the seating. The system created two new mesh. This one is the one we don't need, so right button and delete. And this is the one we want to use. Other possibilities that we can do at the beginning should be great. You can use now, but it's much better to use at the beginning. Imagine that for any reason, when you took measurements with the beanbag in the patient, you can see that you need to apply more pressure in this area. So there is one tool really nice, is the distortion. So with the laser we can define the part we want to modify. I don't want to use the crossing over because I will modify the internal and the external side. So in this case I want to start from here, from here, from here. Okay, and turn. This is the transition. Double click to finish. Next. Okay, so the system advised me that yes, I need to, I forgot in this case, I was thinking in 3D printing. So I need to activate the crossing over, and I want to draw a new laser. Double click. Okay, next. And now yes, we have I want to modify the green one, so I need to click on it to activate. For me it's much better to select the front view. The manipulator is turned, so you can click here to realign, and after you have I want to activate the reference to see differences, and after imagine that you want to move, you can control how many millimeters you want to move inside. Imagine the physiotherapist told you to apply a pressure in this area of I don't know, 15 millimeters. At the same time you have the possibility, if you want to bend, to be more aggressive on the top part. So finally when you save, you can see the differences. Of course in this case the transition, the distance between two lines was not very big, so I need to use the ball to smooth a little bit. So click one time, hold the space bar and start to smooth. Okay. Imagine that you know that the total length is, for example, if I move to know the distance between the bottom part of the patient to the axilla, you can control it. And you say, okay, we have approximately, imagine that we have now 444. Most probably we can look like this. If I deactivate the magnet, I can control like this. Is 463. So imagine that you need to make a sittings with, I don't know, 400 or 500. So that means we need to elongate 37 millimeters. Okay, so you can deactivate, you can use again the distortion, and after you say, okay, I want to use a big transition, click here, and after activate the top part and move the 37 millimeters we so before and after you save. Okay, so everything is okay. Imagine that we have everything ready, we smooth all the parts and so on, and now the seat is ready to cut. So I prefer to select the lateral view, creation, plane, save, manipulator, turn 90 degrees, turn. You can use the manipulator, or if you want, remember that you can move the plane like this. If you want to move this direction, you can do something like this. And now don't forget to be sure that the position of the plane cover all the seat. So when everything is okay, you combine the plane is already activated with the mesh. Control and click on the mesh, tools and cut. So you will get two new mesh, and you need to export to STL. At this moment the system identified one problem in the cushion. For the if you want to send to the robot, you can send like this. This is, remember, this is for 3D printing, but if you want to repair, you can repair. And when everything is okay, you need to select the first one, this one, click here, export to STL, the select object, special global space, and you can rename like a cushion. And after, select the other one, export to STL, and this is the back. Other possibility would be in case to do something like this. Remember that we use a plane to remove material from here to create the axilla and the lateral support and leave a space for the arms. And I remember I cut this part. We can and at the end we have some shape like this, like a cube. Exists the possibility to convert the external contour in an atomic contour. So in this case we could combine with one housing. There is companies that they have different standard sizes according the width of the seat. So for example, let me I have here the first negative, this one. So I want to import one housing to remove material and convert this shape in a rounded. So I go to, first thing, I need to click here. I want to be sure which size I want to use. So let me, for example, we have here the internal space is 37. So if we will approximately from here to here, yes, I think 40, probably 48 is okay. 48, 45. So I go to import, I go to my computer, and I go down and I will look here. Where is the housing? Yes, we have different housing, 42, 45 centimeters and 48. I think this one should be great. So I want to import. Okay. In this case, when we import, we have this is working very good in this part. Probably we can move a little bit to the left side, so I want to use the manipulator and I want to move a little bit. Okay, also here remember that we have these two who offer us the possibility to control this thickness and also this thickness. Oh, wow, it's perfect. Okay, so I don't want to use it. I want to deactivate the measurement. And now the goal is to use the difference in this STL housing. I already give a thickness, so I will remove to the seat the housing, control and housing, tools and difference. So at the end, this part of course you need to do at the end, because you can see that we need to smooth and modify the internal shape, but it's only to give other possibility. Okay, so now we have one mesh with two parts separate, so I want to activate it with modification. I want to use this cube, so I click in the one I want to delete, I remove, I save, and now you can see that we have already to mill. In this case, of course, we need to mill the internal part and after the external, or we can start from the external and after the internal. This is up to you. But this is also, it takes more times, not a lot, and yes, but at the end it's more pretty, no? Because it's more anatomical and everything. I think I explained many things during this webinar. I was thinking that there is one tool that probably is interesting for you, and there is people that they want to add material here and here to create a support for the arms. So if you select this view and you call a plane and you, for example, draw a carve and you put something like this, okay, you say something anyway like this and like this. Okay, now I want to see from the top. My plane is here, so I want to activate the plane, and with the manipulator I want to move. It's too posterior, so I want to move the carve more anterior, and also I want to turn a little bit. I want to be sure if I move, for example, here, it's touching. Okay, and now again I activate the manipulator to move the plane. I can see the width of the arm support. So for example, if you want to create a support with 50 millimeters width, this distance is perfect. And after, you can say the system, I need to click on the carve, I want to apply the extrusion. Okay, let me see from the posterior part. I forgot, I want to move down. Okay, so, okay, here is okay. Perfect. So now I want to combine the carve with the seat. Control. I have already activated the carve. Control, click on the seat. Tools, add, remove, until. So now you have the possibility to say I want to add material until the carve touches the external side of the seat. So when you click on it, you get something like this. I don't want to see the plane. Okay, and you can create something like this. There is people that they create a library with anatomic paths for the arm. So this is the same like the sample I explained before to modify the pommel or to create the geopath, or the same sample of the housing. You can import, you can align in the good position, and you can add with the union. So I think that everything is done. I hope you learn things. This is the most important. And of course there is millions of possibilities, no? Every time I say the software is amazing, is crazy, but if we have not ideas, we cannot do nice things. So thank you very much to be there, and I hope to see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye bye.